with the business opportunity meeting, Kenny, is just kind of talking about the business side of it and the opportunity that's there. Um, and just do your thing.
Sounds good. Well, it's nice to be here with all of you. I'll give kind of a summary of how I got into this company. I never thought in a million years I'd ever join network marketing. It was probably the furthest industry from my background and furthest industry from my interest. I started out as a stockbroker and from there ventured into real estate and had other companies that I've started. And in 2011, a really good friend of mine who was also a stockbroker with me back in the day showed up at my house. And it's funny because I was working from home that day. I could see him from my upstairs, kind of the loft area. And I saw that he was carrying these doTERRA products in his hand. And I was thinking to myself, oh no, I think I yelled down to my wife, hey, Darren's here. He's got doTERRA products. And I think I teased her and said, don't let him in. And I opened the door because I'd known Darren like 20 years. And I opened the door and I said, hey, Darren, good to see you. Don't even think about it. And he started laughing. He said, I knew you'd say that. I said, listen, we've been friends a long time, but right now I've got my hand in four companies. And honestly, I wouldn't have any time to do anything with this. He said, well, listen, I knew you'd say that, but I'll tell you what. He came in and he said, why don't you try this product? It was deep blue, kind of good for sore muscles. And he said, just try this product and tell me what you think, because I know you like to run and work out and these kind of things. So 2 weeks later, he came to my house. He looked and saw the deep blue tube of cream, the same place that it was when he left it 2 weeks earlier. And he said, you didn't even try it? And I said, well, he goes, are you kidding me? He goes, you can't even try a product. And I said, well, listen, I said, Darren, honestly, I just don't have any interest. He said, listen, I'll tell you what, if you'll come and meet with the CEO of doTERRA for 1 hour, I'll never bug you again about this company. And honestly, to kind of get Darren a little bit off my back, genuinely, I said, you promise you'll never bug me again if I go meet with the CEO for 1 hour? He said, I promise. I said, okay, I'll meet with the CEO 1 hour. I said, but there is no chance I'm ever going to join. Well, obviously, I'm here talking to you, so I ate my words because I went with that CEO. So I went and met with the CEO for what was intended to be 1 hour, that ended up being 3 hours. And during that conversation, my impression of doTERRA and this opportunity totally changed. I recognized that the CEO of the company, super humble guy, but very passionate about products. I could tell he was totally committed to essential oils and the success of this company. So before I left that day, he said, I'll tell you what, Kenny, this is the CEO, Dave Sterling. He said, here are some products, and why don't you just try them for yourself? And if you think there's something to this company, we'll see you again. If not, thanks for coming in. I thought that's fair enough. Went home, had my wife initially start trying the products. And I remember this one day, my wife, who kind of suffered from time to time with migraines, she took some of this oil, put it on her temples. I didn't know at the time, but essential oils go into your bloodstream in 30 seconds. She came back in the bedroom about 10, 15 minutes later and she said, what was that? And I said, I have no idea. I said, it's just supposed to be good for migraine headaches. And that was the aha moment because she said, Kenny, you've got to find out more about this company because whatever's in that oil that you call snake oil just took away my migraine headache. And I was like, how can that be though? I mean, how can this little oil do something like that? Well, the next 2 or 3 weeks, we would adventure to try dozens and dozens of products. And the thing that impressed me the most was every single product that we used worked and was totally effective. And I recognized this company was very, very unique. I went back to talk to the CEO. He had a big smile on his face. And I said, why are you smiling? He goes, I knew you'd be back. I knew that you would have the same experience that every single person in this company has, and that is that the products work. And that is why we have 65 to 70% retention of people who continue to use the product quarter after quarter, year after year. I realized in that moment doTERRA was going to be a flagship company. It was going to be massive. They were 110 million dollars at the time. The CEO said, Kenny, I want to be at a billion in 3 years. Come aboard and help be part of that. And I jumped in, and they became $1 billion company in 2.5 years. And then 3 years later, they became let's see, within 2.5 years, they became $1 billion company. And then another 3 years later, they became a $2 billion company. And doTERRA between now and 2028 will become a $4 billion company. I got in about 13 and a half years ago. People sometimes will say, Kenny, you got in like on the ground floor, even though I wasn't there at the beginning, but I was there, after about 3 or 4 years. But I will tell you this, if there's ever been a time in this company to come into the company and really come in and do very, very well, now is the time. doTERRA has revamped and optimized all of their commission plans. Starting in starting in June, it will never have been so easy to grow in this company. Now, doTERRA can be a company that if you want to make an extra $500 a month, you can do it. If you want to make an extra $5,000 a month, you can do it. If you want to make $50,000 a month, totally possible. If you want to make $200,000 a month, totally possible. So the magic to doTERRA is they have what I call the magic three. They've got a company that is rooted in great principles and values, unbelievable, the most humanitarian-based company I've ever been part of. Number two, they have a product that really works and has a retention of 65 to 70%. And number three, they have a compensation program that is the best in the world. So for that reason, after we started in the company, I started to drop all my other companies that I was doing. I kept real estate as an investment, which I always still can continue to this day to invest in. But honestly, at that point, after about 6 months, doTERRA became my very primary objective with business. And I can honestly say the best business decision of my entire career. And super happy that I, for whatever reason, took a chance. I'd always said no to dozens of people that had approached me before, but this time, for whatever reason, I said yes. Really glad that I did.
Give you some background on how I met Kenny is Daxon served in Park City for about 6 months of his mission and met Kenny there, and he introduced us. And I had known Kenny for probably almost 3 years before we ever talked about this. I didn't know really what he did. And when he told me it was doTERRA, I was like he was with Darren. I was very skeptical at the beginning, but knowing he was very successful, I wanted to hear more of the story. And I told him, I'm like, Kenny, I'm not the guy that's going to be having home parties and inviting my wife's friends over to have home parties and stuff. And he kind of just laughed at me and he says, I never have in my life. There are people, Elise Sedavi, that's how she started her business, was through the home parties and stuff. So it is a successful model at that time and whatever, but it's like, that's not me. And so as Kenny talked to me more on how he built it from an entrepreneurial side, it's really what got me interested in it. And
I think a good part of this, when I first started doTERRA, I realized the magic in building the company is finding really good leaders. When I've gone out and when I realized that to become the highest ranking in doTERRA is what is called Presidential Diamond. And you can become Presidential Diamond more than one time. But to become Presidential Diamond one time, which is it requires basically having 6 good teams and building those out. And once I found 2 or 3 really good leaders and that were engaged and they caught the vision and they were excited, all of a sudden that momentum just started building up. In fact, Chris had been a good friend and was my neighbor. Our sons to this day are very, very good friends. And Chris was a CEO of a different company. And when Chris came over, it took a little while to get him over, but once he finally jumped in, he brought over to this day one of the biggest teams in the entire all of DoTerra. It's a team out of Russia, actually. They do about 4 million in volume per month, and it has become just a phenomenal team. So when you come into DoTerra, the magic of the business side of the company is finding good people to work with, and those people will become your good friends, and you'll help them to grow. So your success is helping their success, and I kind of love that aspect of doTERRA and network marketing, and that is that your success comes as you're helping other people succeed as well.
How I've been looking at things too is, I don't know if Kenny mentioned this as he was talking, but out of worldwide doTERRA, 4 of the top 10 people are on our team. And, that's Kenny, Elise, we've got some incredible mentors here. And I've had the opportunity to be working with Kenny and Chris from the beginning, and it's been awesome. And the way I look at it is, I've got these mentors that have already done it, and we're building out this team one way or another. And like Kenny was saying, we're looking for the right people that we want to build this team with. That's why I've contacted you. And for those that I'm going to be sharing this with, that's why I've contacted all of you guys too, is because I would love for all of you guys to be on our team if this is something that you're interested in doing.
The one big fear I had is, how do I approach people? How do I break into a conversation with somebody about a network marketing company? And I'll tell you this, that the thing that I realized in doTERRA is it has something of it's a vehicle for three things that everybody on the planet wants: better health, financial independence, and more time. And probably of those three, I always felt like I had pretty good health. I felt like I'd been successful in the career paths that I had had. But the thing that really allured me, I think, more than anything of those three, is that I wanted more time. I wanted more time to be with my family. I had always worked hard in anything business endeavor that I was in, but I really just wanted to have more time. I wanted my time to be my own. I wanted to be able to, work when I wanted to work. I wanted to enjoy what I did. I wanted to feel like I'm adding value. And I will say that's probably, one of the greatest, I guess, byproducts that have come out of doTERRA is it truly has given me more time to be with my wife, my kids. We've traveled with the kids a lot around the world, and it has given us opportunities like that. And that was something that I'd been in other careers that I had some extra time, but I wanted more time. And so those three things, though, are a common denominator. As you're presenting this to other people, you can work on that common foundation because everybody wants to have better health, financial independence, or more time. So I found that as I shared doTERRA with people, I could build on something that everybody could relate to. And so I wasn't going around, opening up a bottle of lemon and having people smell it. I was just telling people I was part of a business that was a tremendous vehicle for better health, financial independence, and more time. And that's how the conversation got started. That's, for me, that was my comfort zone.
Jeff, everybody, just really quickly, kind of a vulnerable moment here. I had worked at a company for 18 years, and man, I had a lot of loyalty to that company. And it had sold, and in fact, it had gone through 6 sales, 6 change of ownerships, and I navigated every single one of those changes. And when that last change happened, um, the new ownership came in and said, "Hey, thank you so much for your 18 years and all of you people in this group, but you're all gone, and we're bringing our own people in." And I remember like that next day for the first time in my life, waking up and thinking, I'm unemployed. You know, after 18 years of working really hard and thinking that would never ever happen to me. And Kenny, I think you just knew because at the time, Kenny and I our front doors could see each other, and I could see Kenny walking down, and he could see me walking. And you know, Kenny Kenny opened my eyes to something, and what that was, frankly, is that I wanted to be my own boss. I wanted to control my destiny, and I realized, I mean, Kenny, I've said this to you before. If you're not working on your own destiny, you're working on somebody else's. And if you're not working on your own goals, you're fulfilling somebody else's goals. And if you remember, Kenny, that summer was a complete mindset change for me, going from I was going to be the best loyal worker to I got to figure something else out in my life. And I'm grateful for having had the opportunity. It's kept my family going. It has allowed us, as we've had challenges, I've been grateful that I've been in charge. I've been grateful that I set that, and that I've met some wonderful people along the way. Just some great people. And I think you'll find that there is a great community here at doTERRA. I've met some of the best people, and it starts from the top up of ownership, and all the way down to us. So um, it's been good. It's been I've shared a lot of dreams and heartaches with people on this call, and I'm grateful for the team. I'm grateful that I'm now my boss, and I decide what I'm going to do today. And you know what? No one's going to tell me after 18 years that, hey, thank you so much for everything that you've done and all the sacrifices that you've made, but it doesn't matter anymore. And I'm grateful for that, and that's why one of the reasons why I love being here. Plus, I'm healthy. I've lost 60 pounds. You know what I mean? I've lost 60 pounds. I've done a whole bunch of stuff on these products. I've gotten healthy again, and I wish I'm in my, I'm turning 55 this month. I wish I'd had this 20 years ago, and I would have been this healthy when I was 35. Take that for what it's worth. I'm just grateful for the whole opportunity.